Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, Jesse, AJ, Blais coming at you live as the Avs drop this one in overtime. We'll get into the entire story of the game first, but we have to start with the overtime too many men call. Is this the worst call of the year? Genuinely, is this the worst call of the year by the NHL refereeing
What's
committee?
hard for me is that it's not even that it's a bad call; it's an incorrect
it's just
call.
Wrong.
They made a call,
right.
And this isn't like an interpretation
right.
where
I
like
said that to
you
Blais
can
earlier.
you can see
not
where
subjective.
From where he's standing, you could think that he might have gotten a stick on the hands, or he might have tripped a guy who actually just fell down, or whatever. This is a motherfucker who can't count.
Yeah. Right.
Like
There are genuinely
you need to pull the official whose arm is up before a fourth Avs skates ever touch the ice. You need to pull him off the ice right now. You got to go and get him while he's still hot, and you got to put up four fingers.
Yeah.
Can you fucking count?
Yeah.
When the call gets made, there are genuinely more Preds on the ice than there are Avs.
When the arm goes up,
Yeah.
AJ and I just talked about this. When the arm goes up, there's two Avs on the ice. With skates on the ice, there are two Avs players when the arm actually goes up.
And that's something where when that type of play happens, they have the refs have to come together and talk about something like that.
Right? How is it that there are three other guys on the ice? Because linesmen are allowed with too many men to have input on this.
Yep.
How is it there are three other guys on the ice? One of whom is in the fucking Avalanche bench.
Right.
He's in the bench.
Kadri is right behind him getting off.
Like, how do you not be able to count? Oh, hey, there's only two of them? Yeah, totally. That's definitely too many men. Did we just see a situation where the referee counted the referee who jumped into the Avs bench, coming back onto the ice as the extra Av? Yeah. Are you fucking serious? That should be a fireable offense immediately.
Yep.
Like, I understand that you have to go through a billion hours of refereeing and training and blah, 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 blah. You should not be allowed to referee another NHL game the rest of the year when you have an egregious penalty to that level.
There's a difference between interpretation and just objectively getting a call wrong.
Yeah, you can't tell the difference between a guy wearing stripes and a guy wearing an Avs jersey. It's either that or he can't fucking count. Those are your options. The level of bullshit that just took place is insane.
Yeah.
It's
agreed.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to kill a penalty. The penalty kill is still bad. There's still a lot of bad hockey that happened before this game was decided.
Definitely.
But you don't even give a team a chance right there.
Yep.
You just take it away from them.
In a league that we know in third periods just stops calling shit.
We saw it in this fucking game.
Yep.
Nick Cousins need
Kadri
in at center ice after he gets rid of the puck, and everybody just sort of shrugged and was like, "Well, it's in the final 5 minutes of a tie hockey game. What do you expect?" And then we never saw the other too many men penalty.
Yep.
Because Altitude's production is the worst in the NHL. We never saw it because we had to watch replays from 5 minutes earlier. We never saw any of that, and then you get into overtime and they make one up.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It is absolutely the linesman. That you're right. It's the linesman coming.
The linesman jumping out of the bench is the most likely call here.
Well, look at it. Like, we can see it on the TV.
Yeah, you'll
right
see
behind
the
us.
linesman jumping
Watch,
over the
like,
boards.
Watch when his arm goes up because
Yep.
Right
he jumps
there.
into the bench.
all the way in.
He goes all
The
the way
linesman's
in.
going to come out, and
then-
his arm is going to go up.
and then
See? He
the
comes out.
linesman touches
right
the
there.
ice right about now,
Yep.
and his arm goes up. That's
They called the ref.
unfucking-believable. Unfucking-believable.
That's bad.
This is going to be the second time in 4
bad.
years that the NHL is going to have to write a letter of apology to the Colorado Avalanche. It's not even the first one. Unbelievable.
So insane. It's the linesman.
And you're talking about everybody else, and I hate to do this to you guys again, everybody else in this industry is accountable.
Yep.
Every other person in this business, you, me, Jesse, who just went to do post-game availability.
We all got to take our L's on this show every week.
Everybody has accountability for things that they've done or not, or done poorly, mistakes that they have made. Every player, every coach, everybody has accountability eventually. But that guy that just changed the course of that overtime gets to go watch the replay, drink his fucking Bud Light, and be like, oh shit.
Here's my question.
I think I just blew a call in a game that was helping to decide first place in the Central.
But
30 games in, granted. But you never know when that point is going to come back and matter, and they just took it and that guy doesn't have to answer a question. He doesn't get a phone call. He has no public accountability. He literally just packs up his shit, leaves the rink, and goes back to his hotel room, jerks one out, and then calls it a night. There's no accountability.
My question is, he makes that call, and how is the linesman that is literally coming off of the Avalanche bench say, well, hang on a minute.
Did you count me?
Yeah. It's not just that ref makes a terrible call.
Yeah.
It's that no one else on this
three
team
just
are like, yeah, that's fine. It's okay.
Totes. It's all good, baby.
I can only count 3, but I guess you saw more than 3, so we're going to go with that.
On the same night that Kodak Black is actually banging a person inside of the Florida Panthers arena, and it wasn't the worst shot of the night.
Ooh.
It's genuinely baffling that you get a call that wrong, to be that incorrect on a call. As in, look, these are supposed to be the refs that are the best in the world at their job, and that is how the game goes the other way. And look, we have no idea. Maybe the Preds march down and score 30 seconds later on 3-on-3, but they just buried the Avs with that blatantly incorrect call.
And 3-on-3 possession is everything.
Yep.
And Rantanen just got the
puck.
They
won the puck back.
Yeah, they just got the puck because Kadri's that puck got stopped.
Yep.
They win the rebound. They're changing, which they accomplished perfectly legally. Rantanen has the puck. You've got 2 minutes left. You have no idea how that goes.
Yep.
You have no idea how it goes. And you just give them
All
whatever.
right. We're good. We're not going to talk about it until Jesse comes back and has to tell us what Jared Bednar has to say about it.
What I think about this.
Which I'm sure we'll get in a bit. But let's talk about some positive things. Regardless of the way overtime went, the Avs get a point in a Sagababa, a game where they played the majority of it from behind. They get 3 out of 4 in these 2 games. You don't look at how the bread got made of how they lost the game. You're extremely happy with 3 out of 4 points tonight, yes?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, like, you feel how it all, up until the very end, you feel great about how it all plays out, right? Yeah. Like, you're like, hey, you hate that you play like shit, but you love that you just keep coming, you keep coming back and coming back and coming back, and that you're just not dying.
Yep.
I saw some Nashville people who were like, wow, this PREDS team, there's something about them, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? From a Nashville perspective,
you couldn't even handle this exhausted Avs team.
Right, like you had every advantage rolling into this game, and it took that to get you across the finish line. Like what? Like you take your 2 points, and okay, cool. Like you, whatever. I'm very excited to see how the next 50 games play out. Because I don't, especially after tonight, I don't think that that's a very good hockey team anymore. I think that they're solid.
Look, they had every opportunity.
Them as a top 2 seed is just watching that shit. I'm just like, UC Saros is the only reason that team is worth it.
They had every opportunity to bury the Avs tonight, and they just couldn't.
Yeah, they play well. They had a power play with 2 minutes to go and couldn't get a shot. And you're like, This is the worst PK in the league, and you can't even get in like the ultimate crunch time,
and you don't look good at all.
Oh my goodness,
Their
dude.
team defense in front of their goalie
Pack
is
the box,
phenomenal.
baby.
They
Pack the box.
It's
This
hard to get a
is
shot
this
through.
is where I think scouting plays a role, because this felt very Avs, because we
Yeah.
didn't see them play like this last time they were in Nashville. Granted,
It was barely a hockey game.
LOL.
Yeah.
They didn't play like this in Denver. I think that they were like, look, the Avs score on a lot of goals where they throw pucks out to their defensemen out high.
Yep.
We don't want to give them 30-foot shots at the net and have pucks find their way through and hit them. We're gonna pack it, and we're gonna force them to get closer. Look where the goals started coming. Like, Burakovsky goal is great, but you look where the Makar gets goal gets scored from, McKinnon goal gets scored from. It's
Top of the circle's down.
It's
Yeah.
not straight on. They forced the Avs to play in. The Avs adjusted. They did it. They accomplished their goal. They adjusted to how Nashville was defending them. And they got across. They got the goals to get into overtime. And wish we could have seen how the rest of that game would have actually played out.
Yep.
Like for realsies, and not that horse shit that we were subjected to. The straight up fucking clown shoes that just took place is. It's just the black mark on what was otherwise like a perfectly acceptable result.
I hate to circle back this, but we're just going to circle back to it all show. You're just going to have to accept that. The one thing that the NHL always wants to say about the refs is, well, they don't want to decide a game. They abso-fucking-lutely decided this game. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that they decided this fucking hockey game. So,
I mean, bench minor penalties, right? Especially in the last 5 minutes of a game, when there's no like impact to the play,
Right.
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Even that first
It's
one,
got to
I
be
was like,
egregious, and we
Yeah.
didn't. I never saw a replay for it.
on the regulation one?
I
me
never
either.
saw a replay
Me
for
either.
it, so I don't have any thought on it.
Yeah.
I didn't see. We couldn't see it.
For all
live.
I know, the
mean,
Avs had 10 dudes on the ice.
for all we know, they had fucking 4.
Could be, based on that overtime one.
It could have been another linesman.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't. I wish I could say I would give them the benefit of the doubt, but after what
You
happened in
can't.
overtime,
You can't.
that motherfucker can't count.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It is genuinely
Like, we need to sit him down with some Blues Clues, some Sesame Street level shit here, and see if we can get him through the basics before he's ever allowed to referee another NHL game.
The number of the day is 3.
Yo, and that was Kermit high as hell. So,
Okay. All right. Bring it back a little bit here. All right. Let's do a little bit of chronological work here. First period, not great from the Avs. I don't think anyone's going to be particularly
Dude,
happy with
so
the first
bad.
period of this hockey game, especially in a Sega Baba where, look, traditionally in the second game of a back-to-back, the team playing game 2, they come out hot and try to kind of ride whatever they get from it. Avs kind of did the opposite, put themselves in a hole pretty quickly in this one. It wasn't great. It wasn't great, and look, this felt oddly similar to a lot of the previous games we've seen the Avs play, where in the first period and a half, UC Saros was doing the work.
Yep.
He was brick walling the Avs, and then how do you get the Avs to manage the puck better defensively? Because right now, it's costing them more than a goal per game. What's it going to take?
I mean, I have no clue. If I knew, I would probably
Be
call
coaching
them and,
the Avs, yeah.
and tell them. But I mean, there is a lot of concern there, right? Like, and I think some of it is just the system that they're running leaves people wide open in front of the net, and it's basically like, yo, you're gonna get a free shot if you can get to the puck to the
Yep.
center of the ice,
Yep.
because we're gonna challenge you so much, we're gonna put so much pressure on you. But when that breaks down, like you saw tonight along the boards there, that's free goals, especially when Kemper is struggling basically to find the puck right now.
Certainly the rebound control, look, pucks hit goalies and they bounce off them, but I think the thing everybody has pointed out specifically for Kemper is he's not catching pucks well.
No.
Pucks are going in and out of his glove, and those just... However you feel about Kemper, the rebound control with his glove has to be better.
Yeah, I mean, he just played like shit tonight. What's funny is that like as always, it's just complicated because he makes some amazing saves as well, and then the goals that go in, you're like, these are garbage. This isn't great, and he gives up 5.
Yep.
A game after he got pulled for giving up 3 in the first, and in that game, none of us were bagging on him. We were like, look, dude, you can't do shit about those goals.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you look at the 5 that go in tonight, and you're like, yeah, there's a lot that could have been done differently on those. Do you love JT Comper
throwing a puck away?
Giving the puck away and essentially creating a 2-on-0 4 feet in front of you?
Yeah.
No. But that puck also goes through his body.
Directly through him. Directly through him.
Like night crawlers through him. And you're just like, dude, like, what the fuck? This was the problem that everyone, like, yeah, you love that stretch that Kemper had. Oh, look at the 4 games. Look at the 5 games. Great. He's had a couple of those stretches. Now he's thrown 2 starts in a row that haven't been good.
Yeah.
And his team has bailed him out with incredible goal support.
Yep.
Like, his record is the only thing that people can look at and be like, yeah, but look, he's winning games. And it's like, yeah, he's getting the best goal support on planet Earth.
Yeah.
You don't pay a goalie to have an .850 save percentage.
Well, and especially
you just don't.
Especially against the teams that he's doing this against. These are playoff caliber teams that he's doing it against. That's very concerning. A little bit different if you're going in, you're playing, somebody that might not be up to the Avs par. Everyone kind of relaxes. You have a bad night. It's one of those fluke nights. But when you're playing...
Like the 5 he gave up against Ottawa?
Yeah. Perfect example. But like the Leafs.
Yeah.
The Preds that are in first place right now in Central, you want that guy to be up for those games and be on his A game.
Yeah.
And it's not happening right now. It's just not happening.
Yeah. You pay a goalie to be good when you need him to be good, right? Yeah. That's the whole thing. Yes, Avs have massive defensive problems. Yes, they need to be fixed. There's zero doubt about
massive defensive problems. There were some serious issues, but I mean, you look at the goals that beat Darcy Kemper, and you look at the goals that beat UC Saros.
And
Saros, you're looking at especially the McKinnon and the Makar goals.
Those are all world fucking plays.
You're like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
Okay, and then even the first goal is like, that's a guy totally alone in front of the net.
Yep.
On a rebound, like on a puck that gets out by himself.
Yep.
And you're looking at 3 of those, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, UC Saros, like, come on, man. Like, this sucks.
Yep.
You look at what gets through Darcy Kemper, and I'm not going to say all 5 of those goals, you're like, wow, those are bad. But you watch them, and you're like, there's a difference here. Like, the first goal, he doesn't even react to.
Yeah.
And you would have thought that him getting that weird post a minute in would have immediately woken him up and gotten him like,
go, okay,
hey, you need to get into this. And then just 20 seconds later, a puck just dribbles by his foot, and he's like, oh, damn. Oh, damn. And you're like, what?
He got a solid piece of that one, too, but not enough, right?
Well, and he just didn't play well enough. He didn't play well enough, and that's with the credit of, hey, there were some great saves along the way.
Yeah.
You gave up 5 goals, bro. And how many of them were like highlight reel goals? Like the Duchesne goal comes off a huge rebound.
Well, it's
at the end, the game-winning goal, the overtime goal.
Yeah.
If the thing is, like, if he's 1 save better in regulation, this game looks completely different, right?
Yeah.
This game was 2-2 halfway through the second period, roughly. And then they get that 3rd goal. Yes, it's a terrible turnover by Comper, but if Kemper makes the stop there, who knows where this game goes in the 3rd period relative to how it ended up going. And it's... If you're going to give him credit for the quality saves that he makes, which he made a couple in this game, you have to knock him for the ones that he didn't, too. Yeah. It has to be balanced, right? So, all right. We're brought to you all by Breckenridge Brewery. Get over there at the Breck Farmhouse. It's an amazing experience, by the way. If you haven't gone to the farmhouse, go just to have a beer and hang out because the place is dope. You got to check it out. If you're not making it there, you can go to your local liquor store, get 8 different beers on tap at the DNVR bar. Either way, they got you covered. Use the Breck Beer Locator online to find a liquor store near you to check all of that out. You can also check out Strava Craft Coffee, the CBD-infused coffee that you can have for your mornings to be your coffee, be your Advil or whatever pain suppressant you want it to be. CBD helps with migraines, joint pain, IBS, a bunch of other stuff too. You can get 25% off with Strava online when you use code DNVR25 on their website. So be sure to jump on that opportunity. Go check that out. If you love us ranting and raving about refs making objectively wrong calls, maybe sign up for a membership to thednvr.com. You can, if you get the annual membership, you get access to all of our behind the paywall content. Of course, you get access to the DNVR lounge, big beers at the bar. You can also get yourself a free shirt, which Loch Ness Monster, it's out there. Go jump on it right now, the new hotness.
I think I've got one on.
Look at that. Look at that beauty over there on Blais.
I don't know who Scott Doucette is, but he just tried to message us on Facebook and called me a clown and said we don't know what we're talking about. So,
okay,
you're free to DM me on Twitter at any time, and we can chat it out, my man.
Our DMs are open.
Yeah,
all of us.
Like feel free. We don't really use Facebook a whole lot anymore. So,
true.
Come and we'll have a chat on a platform we actually actively use, and then we can talk about it. Otherwise, go fuck yourself.
All right, second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Jesse just got done talking with the players and the coach.
Yeah, man, not happy.
I can't imagine.
Not a
they're
happy
very-
group. Cale Makar said that's the most frustrated their group has been all year is right now in the locker room. Jared Bednar said he was offered no explanation from the officials.
Because there is none.
And, Jared Bednar said a lot of good things. We got to get off to a better start, so on and so forth. Didn't love the PK, things like that. But he also at the same time said, we don't want to lose on a game like that. We don't look at, was it the second half of a back-to-back? Was it this? Was it that? Did we have our guys? We look at it as, did we win or did we lose? And tonight they lost on a call that was completely out of their control. They, by every video angle, you got Dan Rosen from NHL Network on Twitter right now trying to say that he's sure the right call was made because we're limited by camera work.
No, limited by camera work.
There's 50 cameras in the arena. You can see the full sheet of ice.
Just wrong.
It's a wrong call, and I don't know if this point was brought up, but this was something that I was going to say
Go off.
earlier, and we wanted to wait. But, this is why NHL officials need to be made available for media.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's going to make anything better. It's not obviously going to undo the call. But whoever that official was, and I just watched it again, his arm is up before the third Avs. The Avs actually didn't have enough men on the ice when he made the call. And that guy needs to have to get up and say, I made the wrong call. It's unfortunate that a call like that affects the outcome of the game. We have to be better going forward. We'll look at it with the other officials and work to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But it was an incorrect call. That's something that, this is a divisional game between two teams where Jared Bednar made the point just now. That point could mean a lot.
Yeah.
Whoever got it, that point could mean a lot. And it was just, maybe Nashville still ends up winning that game. You never know. But that's the problem is now we'll never know. They got the cheapy call and they got to steal the win.
It's so easy to look back. If the Avs miss the President's Trophy by a point, every single person is going to look at this game and go, huh.
Well, anything now relative to Nashville coming into the season. It was like St. Louis a couple years ago in the season with Game 82, where you could trace that all the way back and say if the refs would have gotten the Sven Andrighetto offside call right, well, then the Avs would have secured. They wouldn't even need a Game 82. This could be something similar. Talking about positioning, talking about winning a division, winning a conference. That call could have major repercussions, and I like Bednar's approach of, we're looking at it, did we win the game, did we not all the feel-goods and stuff in between, the comeback, and it just makes it really frustrating, and it's tough that you hear a lot of talk about video review and how it impacts the game, and, you want to make sure that you get the calls right, you don't want a game ending on something that should or should not have counted. And in these types of situations, and I don't know how you necessarily police this over an entire game, but in an overtime against two teams that have as much at stake as you can have for game 33 of the season, the refs need to be able to get together. Someone needs to
can't
be able
just
to interject and say, on a call that's black and white, I've always thought this. High sticking, delay of game, and now I never thought it would come to this, but too many men, those are black and white objective calls. You did high stick or you didn't. You had too many men or you didn't.
Make one up.
Right. It's not like tripping. You see calls all the time where it's like, that's soft, but it can be interpreted in a certain way. Those are 3 calls where they cannot be interpreted.
Yep.
You have instituted a rule that you can review a 5-minute major penalty to make sure that it is worthy of it. On those penalties that are, it is or it isn't, there's no room for interpretation. You need to have someone looking at that.
How fast is the video review?
For the
on
record, people have sent me a screenshot of the first one. 6 Avs are like clearly in the zone.
In the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was like,
that's
okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally,
that makes sense then.
Totally a penalty. No.
The one in overtime is still objectively wrong.
I have no
though.
issues with
Yeah.
that. We were talking about it.
Sure.
And I have a bunch of DMs from people who are like, check it out, and I'm like, oh shit, that's very clear.
Fine.
Got it. Yeah, no issues.
Yeah.
Great. They were able to count to 6.
But not the 3.
Yeah, but not to 3. Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
We all have days, right?
I guess.
Jesse, like
That's big. That's big Monday energy right there.
Oh.
Not being able to count to 3.
Tell me about it.
with those black and white calls.
Yeah.
I mean, video review on that is so quick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it
You
would
should-
take just
or
a
just-
second.
You just
black and
fire
white
it up and you
challenge.
watch
Yeah.
it really quick, and you're like, okay, it's like the kicking, the Taves kick.
Yeah,
the other
that
day.
was
Like,
that was a
you
30-second
check it-
review.
You checked it. It happened so quickly that they didn't even talk about
Why
it
not?
being reviewed.
Well,
Why
and-
not just have an off-ice judge who's looking
That's
at
what
those
I was
things?
just about to say.
And literally before the next puck drop, that off-ice judge is going, that's not a penalty, guys. Hang on.
And to that point, I mean, you could even, doesn't even have to be someone that's in arena. You could have someone in Toronto.
Yeah, the dude's in the war room.
Hey, there's a penalty, just cue it. Or there's a penalty that meets the criteria, high sticking, puck over glass, too many men. They look at it. If it looks like, ooh, maybe he didn't get him with the high stick, then that's when you sound the horn in the arena, you call the officials over, and you go through it that way. But otherwise, that should have been something that, whether it was an official on the ice or off the ice, that should have been stopped and at least discussed. The fact that it was, nope, I called it. That is what it is. He didn't even, huddle up with refs or anything. That's just really frustrating. And the fact that ref just gets to sit there and be like, oopsie poopsie, and just go about his day. Like it's really unfortunate that he doesn't at least have to sit up there and, like, I should have been able to jump straight from Avs availability to officials availability.
Yep.
What did you see? Because again, I'm assuming which even if he was counting the other official had 2 hands on the Avs bench. Like, even he is within that, like, grace track or grace period, like, runway.
It's not like the puck is over there.
Right. I'm really struggling to see where he got confused. And more than anything else, refs are human. They're allowed to make mistakes. Yeah. What did you see that led you to believe he has
Give me
too many men?
something to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Like,
I caught this person. I didn't realize that this guy had already gotten off. Da-da-da-da-da. Wow, that's unfortunate, but you see how he makes a mistake.
Again, beyond the refs, the biggest problem I have with the call is even if he truly believed there were 4 Avs out there were 4 Preds out there too.
Right.
Preds arguably further from the bench than the Avs were. So I don't understand.
And I get the comment of moving on, but it's the story of tonight's game.
Yeah, like tomorrow we'll wake up, the sun will
and
be
it'll
up.
be
They
over.
will have gotten
Yeah,
3 of
we'll be talking about Evander Kane and Edmonton.
They
tomorrow.
have 35 of the last 46 possible points. 30.
It's 38.
38.
Now, right?
Yeah. 38 of 46 possible points. Like, they're still on fire. It's fine. Like, this, it sucks that it ended this way, but like that's the story for tonight.
That's the story for tonight.
Absolutely.
All the poor hockey, all the poor decisions. They erased all that. They climbed back. They had earned the right to decide the game in the last 2 minutes of an overtime.
Yep.
And they got it taken away from them in even strength for something that didn't happen.
Yep.
Right.
And that's that's the story.
And as much as Bednar said, you don't like the start. We need to get off to better starts.
Absolutely.
All that's true, but at the same time, there is still... They came back again. They hung 4 on UC Saros. So now you've hung 5+ on John Gibson, Connor Hellebuck, Jack Campbell, and you hung 4 on UC Saros. There is still, despite them not playing great, there was a lot of positive to take out of this game, and you just feel like all of it immediately goes away because the way the game ended just sucks.
Like you just feel cheated about it.
Right.
Like it was the same thing as we had to deal with at the end of the F1 season.
Yep.
It was a great season. It was a great race.
Where you wanted the 2 best racers to duke it out, and instead you had the officials interfere with.
Yeah, the officials made up a rule and gave one team a clear advantage. That team took advantage of it and won.
Yep.
And okay, like. That's not their fault.
Yeah, right. And the Preds
didn't do anything wrong.
The Preds got a W tonight, and they deserve to celebrate it. But
yeah, and I'm telling you, nobody in that locker room feels good. They feel relief, but they don't feel good.
Yep.
You're barely in first place. The team that's chasing you has 4 games in hand.
Yeah,
is 3 points behind you.
As far as I know, the Avs
2
are
points.
The Avs are done.
They lost a point tonight.
Okay, yeah.
The Avs are done in Nashville this year. They don't have to go back, right?
I think both of the last 2 are at home.
Yeah. So the next time that you see them in a head-to-head is in Denver, and then after that, it's a postseason. Like you can't. Nashville doesn't want anything to do with the Colorado Avalanche anymore this year. They don't want that. There's going to come a time the Avs are going to pass them in the standings, and that'll probably be that.
The last time they see each other in the standings.
Yeah. But like they didn't do anything wrong. They got their dub. They get to feel good for a night.
Yep.
I guess.
All right.
Well, they get to stay in first, but it tells you everything you need to know about this game. The fact that Cale Makar said this is the most frustrated they've been all season, and everything AJ read off 2 minutes ago is still true. They're playing some of the best hockey we've ever seen them play, and this team feels cheated tonight.
Well, and the team is genuinely really good. And now the attention shifts to they've got 2 days off. They have 2 games at Arizona. You really need to come away with 4 points there.
You should show up and dunk on that.
There's really no excuse for not walking out with 4 points, especially if their COVID issues continue.
Yeah.
And now the conversation shifts to, will Landeskog test out a protocol in time for that series? What's going on with Bowen Byram?
Yep.
Jared Bednar did say he does not have a timeline on Bowen Byram. He was asked, is it health-related or is it just personal? And he said, all I've been told is that it's for personal reasons, and we're going to respect that, but I don't have a timeline on it.
Okay. We'll leave it there on that one. I do want to talk about...
No need to speculate on it.
Yeah. On that type of stuff, you just let it be. Let's talk about a positive tonight. Chat, can you give me 1 word each to describe Cale Makar? Because... and I quote, as he's scoring that goal, I say, he's so fucking good. And then, that's before he shoots. And then he just snipes one past UC Saros.
Wait, so you asked chat, are we not supposed to say anything?
No, you guys get more than 1 word.
Oh.
Chat only gets 1 word each.
That's a lot of God answers.
Go ahead, Jason.
Honestly, bro, and this is just, I don't know, like, the goal's amazing, but the way the game ended, it's just like, who gives a fuck? Honestly, that's nihilistic. That's honestly how it feels.
I would use the word that I think comes to mind is unicorn.
Unicorn, I like it.
There's one. There's exactly one of Cale Makar.
True.
There isn't a comparable out there. There isn't he's like this guy. Because coming into the league, we were like, he could be like Erik Karlsson, because Erik Karlsson was the epitome of offensive defensemen. Yeah, Erik Karlsson wishes he was Cale Makar at this point.
Nobody has the shooting ability in the league that Cale Makar does.
Agreed.
No defenseman.
Yes.
Nobody.
Nah.
Nobody. There's nobody that can shoot the puck from the different body positions that he gets pucks on. Find it. Find it. I'm being dead serious. That the way he can move laterally and shoot the puck back the other direction with his feet like this. Nobody can shoot the puck the way he can, given the way he moves laterally. I'm not saying Andre Burakovsky has an elite shot if they're both just standing there loading him up, but his ability to get pucks off, that's why he's such an effective goal scorer this year. He's getting pucks on net that goalies, they're not expecting him to shoot in that position.
Let alone go top corner.
Right. The one that he had against Toronto a couple nights ago. It's like, find me another player in the league that does that with the same regularity that Cale Makar does. Where, I mean, he's drifting from his left to his right. He's cutting. He's picking up speed. And he still finds ways to throw those pucks across momentum. There's no player in the league that has that ability on the same consistency as he does. His skating and edge work is
He's
phenomenal.
he's genuinely just different. Like,
I was telling Rudo earlier, my kid plays defense.
Yeah,
and
I love this
He's
story.
doing C cuts during the game, and I'm like, has the coach been telling you to do that? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, well, why are you doing that? He's like, well, because Cale Makar does it, so I'm
Yeah.
going to do it. And I was like, okay, I'm not mad at that. Like, if you're going to copy like one of the best skating defensemen, sure, do
probably
that.
good to copy him.
Yeah.
yeah. He's and one of our DNVR Nuggets colleagues was asking us like, oh, well, why wouldn't that guy just like eventually play forward? He's a very good defenseman as well. He's responsible in his own end, plays angles right. He can stick with people. Obviously, his skating's not an issue.
Everything he does
Distributes the
he-
puck
yeah.
well.
works so
Right.
much better as a
Right. I was like, he
defenseman.
moves the
Like,
puck up ice. It's just he does so many things well on both ends of the ice that it's hard to sit there and be like. Jared Bednar said a couple weeks ago, if you moved him to wing, how long would it take him to be an elite winger? And he said 2 games. He's just that good at everything.
and he is truly that good. But you look at his strengths. Look at his shimmy move on the defense on the blue line. How often do you get to do that as a forward? Whereas Makar does that literally every game as a defenseman. He just
Oh, he's way more valuable as he
Oh,
is.
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, and again, it's not like he really struggles in his own end and you live with it because of the offensive
No
output.
That is not the story.
He's
at
a
all.
legitimate like top pairing defenseman. I mean, is he the best defenseman in the NHL right now today?
Oh yes.
Well, if you were building a team to win a Stanley Cup this year, which defenseman would you pick ahead of him?
I think Victor Hedman's the only one that's even in the conversation.
3 years ago, I'd have picked Victor Hedman.
A year ago,
Right
I would
now,
have picked Victor Hedman.
I would not pick Victor.
And that's
Hedman.
I know,
with
that was
Victor
the
Hedman
that was the
coming
question
off
I was asking you.
coming off the down year, I
Right.
would have picked Victor Hedman at the start of last year.
Right. Well, and
Today,
No.
I think I agree with you, but I think that and that says something for Cale Makar that I think the only person you can even put in that realm is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, Norris Trophy winner. Did he win the Conn Smythe 2 years ago?
I don't
remember.
actually.
I can't remember if he won it on the first
I know
one.
he was really good.
Yeah,
And
so I mean, like-
both runs, he was like,
Yeah.
He's
All
the
right,
only
freak.
other
And-
close to point per game defenseman in the playoffs beyond Makar.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And yeah, I guess there's a great Devon Taves is another
Well,
one that's
and
maybe in
I was
that conversation.
I was gonna say Devon Taves would be in my personal top 5 in that
Yeah.
conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
But
he'd
I'm
probably
still
make the
taking
top
I'm
5.
still taking
Yeah.
Cale Makar first.
Definitely.
Me too, yeah.
Because of the game-changing things that he does. That I fucking love Devon Taves, but if you take Cale Makar away from Devon Taves is still great.
You made a great point
But
about plus minus during this game.
He's not all world, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't offensively. There's a difference between the two.
Yep.
I think Devon Taves is a better defender. I think he's a smarter player. I think that physically he's not nearly as gifted, and he's just absolutely maxed out in all of his abilities because he's making the most of all of it. And with Makar, I don't know that a ceiling exists. Like, I genuinely believe
Yeah.
that one day we will see a
Going full Mean Girls
We'll
over
see-
here. The
we'll
limit
s-
does not exist.
we'll see a Cale Makar 100-point season. You know,
I'm here for it. With
I
40
just,
goals.
I think that's where I just think that's the kind of talent that we're sitting here looking at right now. Is that this is a guy that isn't in the league anywhere else in the league. No disrespect to Adam Fox, of course, because there's always 2 Rangers fans who watch our show and document every single
is-
time that we talk about Cale
You know-
Makar.
An interesting point here. We were talking about this during the game, Ben, as Jesse mentioned the plus minus of Devon Taves came up. You know who else was the plus minus leader in the NHL with Cale Makar? It was Ryan Graves.
His last D partner.
Yeah, but then you put an actually great defenseman in Devon Taves next
well,
to
and it's
Cale
that
Makar,
much better.
And then you just watch, like, they just mold together, and you're like...
Right.
Because we've talked about, like, oh, Byram and Makar together are going to be insane someday, and you're just like, well, doesn't need to be today.
Right.
Devon Taves is there, and
Well, they
that
complement
pairing...
each other, right?
And that pairing, is there another pairing that you could think of right now?
That's the best
in
pairing
the
in the
NHL.
NHL. It's the best pairing
that
in the
you
NHL.
would that you would take over Taves and Makar.
No.
Not even. I don't think there's one particularly close.
Because, like, Adam Fox's partner,
It's Trouba.
Libor Hayek. No,
It depends on the night. Yeah.
Libor Hayek wouldn't make the Avs. let alone be Cale Makar's fucking partner.
Right.
Well, and that's the same story everywhere. Even Hedman. Like, who are you putting with Hedman? Sergachev? It's not going to live
Who is
up.
it that plays with Hedman right now?
I've watched one Tampa Bay game this year, and it was against Colorado.
But no, I mean, I was thinking about this just a couple days ago. That is the best pairing in the NHL. To me, I think it's comical that a lot of the national Canadian writers had Devon Toews on the fringes of the Olympic roster, as in, oh, we don't know if he'd make it. And to me, like,
He should be a lock.
Right. Yeah. Right. I really struggle to find
He's literally
6 Canadian defensemen that are playing better hockey than Devon Toews.
He's the most productive defenseman in the NHL right now. Like, yes, he has a limited number of games, but
Yeah.
But you're not getting to that limited anymore. I mean, he's into the 20s. Like, it's
a quarter of a season.
Right. It's limited, but it's not.
It's limited relative to his peers this year. But
Right.
he's still on pace to play like 60-plus games, where it's like, oh, if he plays 60 games and he has 75 points, what are you going to whine about? You know?
Yeah, Cal Foote, Eric Cernak.
Yeah, well, and that McDonough and Chernak in the postseason last year was fucking nasty.
I'd still take Makar Toews over it any day of the week.
They're just different. Like,
Definitely.
Like, you want Devon Toews and Makar at the top, and then you want McDonough and Chernak below.
And then
like,
you never lose a hockey game again.
Swallowing up, like that's your like nasty D pairing.
Your top pair has 2 points every night. Your second pair gives up nothing ever.
Well, that's the pairing that you would say Colorado's missing. The really big, the physical.
It's what they want EJ and JJ to be, but it's not.
Yeah, and it's what they want Bo Byram and Drew Helleson to be
true.
In like 3 months.
All right. I'm going to go to AJ on this one because, as I'm sure both of us can confirm, you can just eat sexy pizza that's like 3 days old and it's still absolutely delicious.
It was
Air
solid.
fryer.
I didn't even air fry it. It's just like genuinely, we just had sexy pizza sitting up here, left over, just off set over there, and I was like, I'll eat this.
Yeah.
It's still good, still delicious. Go get it fresh, and it's unbelievably good. Have some warm, fresh, sexy pizza. You got to check it out. So get over there. Highly recommended. The New York style pizza, as they say.
His skates aren't even on the ice when his arm goes up. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's other, like,
crazy.
Even if you were to be like, well, and you freeze frame it, and you have his skates are on the ice, and you have Kadri still getting off the ice. The hand had already come up.
Already up.
He'd already decided to call a penalty before there was anything to call.
His arm is right.
He either mistook the official or he can't count.
Yep. It's one of the two.
Those are literally the only two realistic options that I will entertain.
I mean, if you're not entertaining one of those two options, you're entertaining conspiracy theory level shit.
You're getting into he took a payment.
Right.
That dude just got Venmo'd 10K or something.
Even if he did mistake that ref, we're watching it right here. The ref had actually not only are his hands on the board, his feet or he's actually sitting on top of the boards.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
I don't get where he made the mistake. It's really unfortunate. I go back to my last point. Or my first point that I don't get why they don't have to answer for this.
You were gone. I made this.
Okay.
Very loudly.
I figured you did.
Look, just in case the ref didn't get paid enough tonight, there are job opportunities at the Ball Corporation.
My man getting us back on track.
Or, look, maybe he'll be looking for a job after tonight. Also a viable option. Ball Corporation, you have product technicians getting $27.39. Jump on it. It's on the line work, but opportunities for raises at 6, 12, and 18 months. And then you also have opportunities to move up to higher positions in the company. Ball is great. They give you benefits, PTO, insurance, paid time off. I already said that. It's fine. Bunch of great stuff. Go check out Ball. Go to jobs.ball.com to get your application. Search for Golden or text Golden to 77222 to find your opportunity with the Ball Corporation. Excuse me. Okay.
Apparently, Roberto Luongo is in the suite next to
Kodak Black.
Oh
my God. Well, yes. I know we have a super chat about that, so let's get to like. Oh yeah. All right, King of the Game. We already talked about him. Cale Makar is not human. He's an actual alien being.
Is he the best player on this team right now? Or Is he officially the best player on the team?
Does he have the highest ceiling on this team right now? Yes. Not quite consistent enough, I think, because part of what Mac does is he hasn't been scoring this year, and it just doesn't matter because he gets 2 assists every night, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely Mac's hallmark is that he does
he produces
every night.
I don't think you can. Like, a rising tide raises all boats, right? Like,
for sure.
They make each other, like, the presence of each other makes life easier for
both
each
are great,
of them.
yeah.
And they benefit so much from each other that trying to separate their success and be like, is this guy better or is this guy better? It's like the answer is yes.
It just feels like the 99-point season for Mac. Like, that's what it feels like we're going through with Cale Makar right now, where every couple nights, not only does he put points on the board, but he does pull you out of your seat,
like,
show-stopping,
oh my God, yeah.
Plays and moves, passes. I mean, in what? 7 days? When was the Chicago game?
It was about a week
Like in the
ago,
last 7 days, that dude's got like 4 Sports Center top 10 type plays.
Yeah.
And it's just like, holy shit. Every time you think that, like, wow, that's unbelievable play. He's, it's really fun to see what he's capable of. And then he does something else. And you do eventually start.
He has a game like last night where he doesn't play great.
Kind of disappears a little bit.
He has an impact on the game tying goal. But doesn't play great. And then a game tonight where you're just like, he was feeling it. He ends up at 3 points, and you're just, and the insane game tying goal, and you're just like,
well, and what's just going to add and build on it for him is that he's playing penalty kill now. Whatever this revamped penalty kill is, he's getting more defensive responsibilities. He's maybe still not the roll out there and shut down time and go eat pucks guy, but I don't think you want him to be either.
Who isn't playing penalty kill after tonight? I mean, they tried just about everybody on that thing.
People are like, oh, you guys got to talk about this and how do you fix it? And I'm genuinely here. I'm just sitting here like,
so Bednar,
I don't know.
Bednar
anymore.
said that they were making yesterday after morning skate. Him and Nolan Pratt seriously spent about 15 minutes on the ice, talking pretty animated with each other about the penalty kill. They got your kind of core group of penalty killers together, had an extended conversation with them. He said that major changes were coming both systematically and from a personnel standpoint.
We've seen a big major change structurally in the last 2 games. It just hasn't mattered.
He said after the game yesterday, he said, we are expecting growing pains because it is a departure from what we have done big time, but we think it'll ultimately get us where we need to be.
We are expecting growing pains, which means that percentage will continue to drop until it goes back up to right about 80, and we're at like 15th in the league, and we feel sexy.
And I asked him about it just now, and it was maybe the shortest answer I've ever gotten from Jared Bednar. He said there's some good and some bad, still a work in progress.
Yeah, and like it sucks that the game ends on how it does because that fat puck coming out to Duchesne like that, like. I don't think anybody does anything wrong. I don't have anything against Kuemper on that. I don't have anything against shot blocking.
You're stuck in a 4-on-3
You're in
situation.
a 4-on-3 where if you're in a 5-on-4, that never...
Well, and that puck...
There's a guy there.
That puck hits him a little bit more flush, and it's going right back out the other way to center ice.
It was just...
But just the way it hits his shin pad.
It's going to be gross. But a great finish from Duchesne. Like he bombs that thing away, right? And he just beats Kuemper with it, and it's. I don't have any issues with Kuemper on that. I don't have any issues with that goal. It just the whole problem was
how they got there.
They were on the goddamn PK when they didn't. They should not have been.
Well, and it sucks because there were things that if they would have come out with a win in that game. We talked about character. This being a character game before.
You've got they win tonight. That's 6 in a row, and then you look at their schedule. Okay, they get. Arizona, they get Minnesota at home in an afternoon game, which are always weird. You just never really know. That's totally that's coin flippy as shit, right? And then you go to California to take on a couple of teams that you haven't struggled a whole lot with the last couple of years. And you've beaten Anaheim twice already this season. So you've already beat down the good version of the Ducks. And you start looking at it and you're like, and even now with the OT loss, if they can get through Minnesota, you start looking into their schedule and you're like, they could get to the All-Star break.
Well, and it's still a big character point. Where I was going with that was what sucks is that you were this close. If you win that game in overtime, you are this close to ending on an unbelievably high note. A huge penalty kill at the end of regulation.
Yep.
Which was really good. They kept denying the puck and they were sending it down. They gave up 0 shots on goal and go into the PK or go into overtime with like 7 seconds left on the PK.
Right. And
win the faceoff, clear the puck, nothing happened.
And you're sitting there and it's like, damn, if they can go win the game after that, then you get to end the game on such a high note in an area that you've struggled. And you completed another comeback, and you would have hung 5 goals on another Vezina finalist caliber goalie.
You would be 1 point behind Nashville at that point,
right? And you're
with 4 games in hand,
and you are just feeling amazing. And what sucks is that had that game just ended in overtime with Nashville scoring a goal and you lose anyways, you feel really good about getting a point in that situation. Yeah. But because of the way it ends, you just feel like we should have had a better outcome.
And I kind of like that they have to sit with it for 2 days.
I don't hate it either because
I already feel a little bad for Arizona.
I was just about to say,
they're about to get beat down on Friday night.
I think that there's an outside chance that this is like 10-0. Like if I'm DraftKings, I don't allow people to bet on the over in that game.
Certainly not the Avs individual over.
I wish they were playing Arizona Thursday instead of Friday.
The 2 days off is too many.
Well, I agree with you. There's part of me that likes that they have to kind of like think about it for 2 days. But there's another part of it that I honestly think that if you offer them like, hey, you could go play the Coyotes right now.
In 30 minutes.
They'd be like, we're doing it.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Bring them out.
Bring the Coyotes to Nashville and just send them back out.
Yeah.
And they just tear them apart.
Yeah, and it's 11-1 and 3 Coyotes get injured. It's like...
Don't want to dunk on the Coyotes too much here.
I don't think it matters.
I think the Avs have the possibility of doing plenty of that this week. And look, like, this is obviously a little bit of hubris, but I mean... I will tell you that Coyotes team is the worst NHL team that I think I've ever watched in my life.
Maybe ever.
I still think the COVID-shortened season Detroit Red Wings had a fucking chance to be that. I think they were going to be like a 40, 41 point team.
Points-wise, for sure. But I think that this Coyotes team is actually...
Well,
truly, to its core, process-wise... legitimately the worst NHL team I've ever seen.
Well, we made the comment in the pregame about like their goalies, and it's like you don't even really count them as the Coyotes goalies because they're more of just like guys that they have there that are NHL caliber to some extent.
Dude, they're
to
lambs
wear the
to the
pads.
slaughter.
Right.
They're lambs to the
slaughter. So
slaughter.
that's I feel like with the whole roster is it's just like, just get us through.
All right. We have a billion super chats to get to.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hit those.
Holy Lord.
Josh with $5. Thank you very much. Making a Sky Judge or have them do media would something a league might have to admit they make mistakes. Not having look. They've already apologized to the Avs once in the past 5 years. Me and the league,
Well, and they've done it multiple times. The league has come out and said we got the call wrong, and I honestly,
and it doesn't do any good.
Well, but it doesn't do any good. But I appreciate that more than everyone just being able to that they say.
Is that kind of like after an ex cheats on you and then 2 years later calls you up and goes, yo, my bad about that.
Well, it's
you're like, look, we've all moved on, but I appreciate the acknowledgement.
It would be like if you had an ex that you had good evidence they were cheating on you, but they said that no, they didn't, and then 2 years later they were like, yeah, I did. Like, I'm sorry, that wasn't cool. Then it's like, that's fine. I wanted to hear it come out of your dirty little mouth. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the NHL. Like. Wow. I know you messed up. I just want to make sure that you know you messed up.
All right.
And
there's something about that phrase.
Go to the next one before we dig this hole any deeper. Tommy with $5. Thank you very much. When did the dump and chase interference calls go away?
They still
Kadri got called for one 2 nights ago.
Yeah, they still exist.
Yeah, it's a game-to-game thing.
Yeah, right? It's not something you see a ton of because they don't want to call that. But if a guy does something truly egregious,
there was a few tonight where it was
you could have
called those.
Yeah, my biggest annoyance was that Kadri shit from Cousins at center ice. Yeah. I hated that. I was like, the puck is gone, man, and you just need that dude. Like Nick Cousins is a rat piece of shit, right? So like, there's no worry here that was in any way unintentional.
Oh, for sure.
It was very on brand, but
And it's against Kadri, so you know you're probably going to get away with it.
And it was just like, it was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
All right,
So
next.
That's when the whistle was blown. The whistle was blown.
$5 from Eddie, thank you. KUEMPER did have a great game against the Jets less than a week ago.
That
so
really
it's not
counted
all
for a
bad.
lot tonight. I bet he thought the same thing. Man, remember that game I played against the Jets a week ago? I ruled that game.
I didn't have an issue with KUEMPER tonight, to be honest.
I'm not surprised. That's very on brand.
There we go.
I mean, Jared Bednar didn't either, so...
Stop the pod. There's too many men on the show. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 4, 5. It's too many, I guess. Thank you for the
Counting
pod.
is hard.
You just passed the first level of becoming
An NHL ref.
NHL
Let's
ref,
go.
so-
Stage 2.
$20. Extremely generous from Alec. Thank you very much. We will beat number 1 in 2 weeks. I don't know if it'll be that long, to be honest with you, for the Avs.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
If they win both
After
games
this
in
weekend.
Arizona, there's a good chance they're number 1.
Yeah,
So-
not knowing what Nashville's schedule is like, but like they've got the games in hand. The Avs. This was the first of 3 back-to-backs that the Avs play in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot of hockey played by Colorado. They can.
Easily
I don't
eclipse
know
that.
that it'll be very long, but I mean you do have to assume that the Avs will at some point start to
Track
lose in
that
regulation again.
Eventually.
They're not going to continue to go 8-1-1 or whatever in 10-game segments.
Yeah,
you know? Like
pretty
it's-
ridiculous. Wow, 8-1-1, and both of their losses are to Nashville in that 10 games.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
This is the
And both games have significant asterisks. next to
yeah.
them.
If you're Nashville, you're just
different
like
reasons.
dubs are dubs. But if you're the Avs, you're like yeah.
Are they, though?
You're like we'll see how that goes next time you guys are in Denver,
7 Canadian from
where
Carey.
we can blame the altitude.
The new Bobby Orr, Cale Makar, the unicorn.
True facts.
Yeah. No lie
I don't
detected.
think he's the new Bobby Orr. He's
he is Cale Makar.
He's the
yeah.
first model of Cale Makar.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Version 1.0.
Yep.
Kyle with another, is that 5 Canadian? Altitude mentioned it at one point. Curious how does Kadri get kicked out of
This is
faceoff so
a curiosity that we've had for a long time.
It was Soderberg before, and now
when
it's Kadri.
When we can't get into the locker room and actually talk to him about it, see, like Soderberg wouldn't, but like we can't just go and be like, dude, what's the deal here? Why do you get tossed from so many faceoffs? Like, what's going on? No idea.
That was like last game. Remember we were talking about that? It was in the offensive zone, and they're like just talking to him over and over and over again, not kicking him out.
It's like, are they going to throw this dude
What-
out
yeah,
or
like,
what?
what's
And
going
with
on here?
Kadri, he takes one step wrong, it seems like, and they're like, get out.
Yeah.
You're done.
Well, there was the one tonight that was re-dropped because they said it was dropped unfairly, that Johansson won straight back, and they kicked Kadri out. He never even dropped his stick.
All right, $10.
The stick wasn't even on the ice. I don't get how
maybe that 10K Venmo really did happen in the game. Like
$10
that's
from
how they
Colton.
kept the linesman quiet too on the too many men.
Dude.
Thank you so much, Colton. When do we talk about the 2 to 3 no calls prior? If any of those calls were called, this garbage would not have happened. I mean,
we
we
don't
kind
know
of
that.
talked about it already.
So,
but-
actually, do you want to
not
know,
great.
outside of obviously the one in overtime, the call that I was the most annoyed by was whoever it was that new hook that got the high stick, the double minor.
Rantanen.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
Rantanen.
that's-
Oh, the 3 cross checks
Yeah,
to the
so
back
I-
immediately prior.
Miko high sticked him. It drew blood. Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Johansson fed him 3 very
the
solid
numbers, yeah.
cross checks right in the back right before. And a year ago, that's just a battle in front of the net, but you've set the precedent this year that is a penalty.
Oh, that's over now.
it's
Don't
not-
worry about that. That's done.
It's not just the cross-checking precedent, but in the first period of this game, Newhook coming across the center of the ice, they call the interference on the guy net front for bodying him in the way, and it's like,
Yeah.
I guess it is too much to ask for NHL refs to be consistent for an entire hockey game. It's just too much to ask.
Well,
I
and
guess.
this goes back to, I mean, the conversation of the human element in sports, and you just have to live with that. I wholeheartily believe that for the majority of NHL rules, there is a level of interpretation, and the people that pound the table of will just call the game, just call the rule book. I promise you would not want to watch a hockey game that is called to the letter of the rule book.
It'd be awful.
I promise you don't want to.
It would be 6 hours long.
Well, and there'd be 50 more icings a game. Right, yeah. They're you don't want that.
There would be 0 5-on-5 time.
Right. So you do have to live with the fact there's a level that's interpretation, but yeah, it's frustrating because it seems like
it's hard for the players, right?
Well, there you go. That's what I wanted to bring up.
Right.
Like, it's super hard because as a player, you're like, okay,
you spend the first period figuring out what you're calling.
Where do I get to play?
Yeah.
And what are you going to call and what you're not going to call? And like, there's been good refs in the past. Moose, he like refed a few of our games where he's like, this is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm going to call. Like, goes over, talks to both the benches, take a penalty, tells you why you're getting a penalty, right? Like, obviously that's not happening in an NHL game, but the players are still expecting some like, okay, I can do this, I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a solution to it. I know I've heard people talk about, and this I think becomes a bit of a personnel and a numbers issue, but do you start doing stuff where for chunks of the season you have one ref and one linesman that are assigned to a certain division, that are assigned to certain teams,
just to get some consistency,
so that there's a level of consistency, or do you do it on a monthly basis so that all your games for this month are going to be reffed by at least one consistent guy. Again, I don't know what you run into from a numbers standpoint at that point in terms of officials.
The problem with that concept is you get refs like St. Laurent, who is not consistent in any imaginable way. Every game you go into with him, you have no idea what he's calling and what he's not. So it doesn't really fix it.
But I think I do think it's one of those things because I don't remember. I think it was Tim Peel went on 32 Thoughts a couple weeks ago and was talking about the fact that a lot of players don't have the same type of relationship with officials that they used to. He was talking about how, I would talk to Connor McDavid, but that a lot of especially captains and players that interacted a lot with officials, he said there just used to be kind of this like unwritten thing where you come up and you get to know the ref and you're chummy, and it allows you to kind of open the door for those additional conversations. With there being less of that in the league, I don't know. Does it make a difference? It may not. But I think that would be part of it because you don't necessarily have an issue. I think that's where a lot of people's issues come from. At the root of it is the consistency of the calls. On any given night, if you are just looking at the calls made on the ice, I'll remove tonight. For the most part, you can at least see where they're coming from.
That is in his booth. That video
is there a closer video?
Booth. It's literally right next to him.
So good. Crazy.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
But there's usually, I'm going to remove tonight.
God.
Even if there are calls that you don't like, usually your issue is with inconsistency because they didn't call that before, that went uncalled 2 weeks ago, that seems soft, whatever. So even if you're having some level of consistency, I think would help at least make a difference. You'd like to see something done.
All right, let's go through some of these little bit rapid fire here. If you can find Megan on the set, you win something.
We should
I don't
keep
know,
like a little like
a cutout or something. Yeah.
And then have like Evan somewhere hiding.
There you go. Yeah.
Evan should be back soon, by the way, fam.
$5 from Casey. Thank you very much. I meant to send $3.99, but I can't count. Oof, got him.
Well played.
Got him.
Sent $4.99. That's actually my favorite super chat ever.
5 more from Eddie. Also, can we pour one out for Joesty? Man is legendarily cursed. Got a feel for it. At a certain point, are you cursed, or can you just not finish?
Yeah, you're not cursed anymore. It's the same way that Jason Megna's cursed, or any of these other guys who can't finish are cursed. Look, love Jost. We've advocated for him as who he is. Are you watching it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like advocated for him time and time again, and have like railed against the haters and just been like, accept who he is, guys. Accept who he is.
Yep.
He just can't finish. He just can't score goals like that. He's not that guy.
Yep.
For whatever reason, he can do it at every other level except the NHL, and
Just can't do it.
He just can't do it at the NHL.
He'll-
You know what? The NHL separates a lot of guys in that way. So
He'll put together one
fine.
streak a year of 7 games where he'll put up 3 goals, and it'll trick you into it a little bit. Be like, maybe.
No, never again.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. But like, he's good for it every year.
He's not cursed, man. He's just not finishing.
$5 from Mike. Time for refs to wear body cams. I want to see what they see and hear what they hear. I'm just not going to touch that one.
I think that'd be awesome.
I think it'd be
pay
dope.
for
They did the ref cam a few years ago.
Yeah, it was cool.
Too, yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, and not only that, but it gave you a way better appreciation for how hard it is to see things like a puck going into a net from where they are, or certain penalties getting called because you see where they're looking because of how the camera is on the top of their helmet. Gave you a great appreciation for it,
Yep.
and instead,
That's the other thing that you do have to say in defense of NHL officials. This game moves extremely quickly. Things happen in the blink of an eye.
No matter how fast whatever situation I am in, I can still count to 3.
And that's what I was just about to say. That's what
count to
makes
fucking
this one
3.
tonight so much more frustrating, because that had nothing to do with the game moving fast. That had nothing to do with I can
there's
see.
no interpretation.
Right, there's no
You
interpretation.
literally can't count.
That's what makes it so frustrating. Is that.
All right, $5 more from Tommy. Thank you very much. Home Alone, NHL. Your refs are woof.
Literally a segment on Sesame Street to help kids learn how to count.
All right.
You can get the count.
Thoughts on Kodak
Whoa.
Black? $5 more from Eddie. Look, there's a much more accurate video out there as we were just looking at.
Do you think he could count to 3 during that?
Do you think he made it to 3 seconds? I mean,
So the other video makes it look like
it's not. They're not just banging it out.
just some pretty heavy petting. It's pretty serious strip club action.
grinding.
Yeah.
Some grinding.
That's VIP room level action.
That would not
in front
be,
of everybody.
Yeah, that would not be allowed at a high school dance.
I don't know what high school you went to, bro, but
$5.
Would that be allowed at your high school?
I never went. I never went to those dances.
$5. AJ, what would you call the refs today?
I said clown shoes already.
Did
the
you?
super chat had to have happened already.
All right. Okay.
I called them clown shoes. I said the whole thing was clown shoes.
Good enough. We'll take it. $5 from Let's Go Avs. My favorite thing in the world is screaming at my TV over some dumb Avs of shit, then turning on the pod and hearing AJ scream the exact same thing.
Voice of the people. Fuck you, Scott Doucette.
Get him. Next, $5 from Ms. Rezik. I tried. I'm sorry. Price Flower Quick Rask. Do we make a move for one of these guys? Ask again at the trade deadline.
Which one of those guys is available?
That's fair.
Price? No.
So he can
For
not play.
Many reasons. No.
Well, and here's my annoyance with that. You're taking the same. You're making a second gamble in the same season at goal. Assuming you don't have any injury problems, I just don't see them spending any additional assets in net.
Truly, I ask, find the last time that an impact goaltender was traded in season and it went on to make a difference. Because the answer might be Patrick Waugh.
Because if Darcy Kemper stays healthy, you'd be bringing a goalie in saying we hope that they can get hot and go on a run.
The closest thing is the YOLO call-up of Binnington, probably.
See, and Matt Murray, but those are internal promotions.
True.
Right. But that wasn't you going out and bringing that guy in. Those were accidental.
That only happened because Binnington only happened because they bombed it out with Chad Johnson and Jake Allen failed as their starter. And Ville Husso got hurt in San Antonio, remember?
Yep.
And the only reason, and Jordan Binnington was loaned out to Providence.
Yep.
Right.
They let another organization have him because they just didn't.
He was their last option, basically.
Yeah. Jordan Binnington happened because it had to, and then they just got lucky.
Yep.
The same way that Pittsburgh got lucky with
Matt Murray.
the way that he did.
Yep.
But you go and find the last in-season goaltender trade that actually had a big impact.
Well, and real quick,
Go.
We talked about it at the beginning of the season. There is an adjustment period with goaltenders. Why would you get all the way to deadline, assuming you have healthy goaltenders,
And then restart that.
and then restart that process? When you're it's either we hope Darcy Kemper gets hot come playoffs, or we hope this goalie that we trade for gets hot and integrates into our system right away.
If you were gonna make that move, you got to make that move in the next 10 games.
Right,
And then
right.
you're also gonna say, did we really just give up on this halfway through the season?
Right.
Darcy Kemper hasn't been anywhere near bad enough.
No.
Yeah, it's
For
just
you're
straight.
Still
He's not
winning
been
hockey
Grubauer,
games.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
that's the other thing.
Yep.
I know, like,
Yeah.
it's easy to nitpick this, but they're still winning hockey games. He's making big stops. It's
Right.
just, there's some sloppiness there. We all see it. There's goals that you want the Avs to have back, but
I mean, let's face it. On most nights, he's doing enough, right?
yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Until he's costing you wins,
You could say that he hasn't been worth the cost, but what's the
Sure.
cost of the next guy?
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Because now you're adding it up, and then if that doesn't work, now you're 2 moves in the hole.
Right, and
So
it's one of those things where you've got a goaltender that you know has another level. Whether you're keeping with him or you're bringing someone in, you're hoping they get to the
okay.
next level.
the,
Okay.
the reality
All right.
is we don't
All
really
right.
need to entertain this conversation.
Yes.
It's never going to
Let's
happen.
end this
Right.
conversation.
Well, I've seen it come up a lot
Yeah,
recently.
I'm
Who
saying,
should they
we-
go get? And it's like
we just don't need to do it.
it's just not
And
happening.
now
We don't need to do
we're
it.
moving on. Another 5 from Eddie. To determine the best defenseman, we should put Makar and Fox with McDermott for a season, and the one who drives the best. I mean, look, an
great
anchor
point. It's a
can
great
drag
point.
down anybody. It's where I'm at with this one. If the anchor's heavy enough. 5 more from Tommy. Thank you again. This is not the Kemper we saw in the bubble that gave us so much trouble and stole a win. Yeah,
Against the backup.
I mean, I think the reality is everyone knows Kemper has more to give than we've seen so far. And
Yeah.
you don't get to see that if you give up on him.
Right.
5 from James. Until an accountability precedent is set, this will be a black eye for the NHL.
Not even that. It won't even be a slap on the wrist.
Yep.
Who's going to hold the NHL accountable? There's nobody above the NHL.
Anyone
to
who
hold the
tries
NHL
to hold the
accountable.
NHL accountable gets fined $250,000. So,
25,000.
well, I was talking about the Rangers last year. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have obviously with the Brendan Moore stuff, you can't complain about their incompetence because it's a bad look for the league. Because having brazen incompetence in your officiating is somehow not a bad look for the league. But, this is a league full of fucking idiots, so...
$2 from Houston to the last 2 games show how important Landy is.
I don't think these last 2 games show it.
No.
I think that we know that Landy's an important piece of this team
Yeah.
in the locker room on the ice, but I actually think that you're pretty pleased in your
You have
last 2
8
games.
goals without him.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And you're 1-0-1.
I
think you feel pretty good.
I think missed him more last game than you did tonight. Given,
I don't think there's a difference to me.
I think there's a bit of a difference given the first line's play. But anyway, conversation for another day. Alec, $5 Canadian. You were different, Alec, than before. I'm pretty sure. Watched the Preds cast tonight. Got to listen to their announcers call Duchesne's first goal a clutch, timely goal. I screamed for AJ.
That's funny.
Be the first one of his career.
Well, I was going to say,
there it is.
he's got he's got 8 goals in 8 games against the Avs, and he scored the first 2 that mattered tonight.
Got him.
There you
Got
go.
himself.
It's true.
But AJ's 100% right. Like, that's... are those maybe his biggest goals since he beat Roberto Luongo in the shootout of
To
2009?
send the Avs to playoffs.
That
Yeah.
didn't even count because that was a shootout.
Right.
All right, that's all the
Skills
supers.
competition dream, Matt Duchene.
That's all the supers. Final
Maybe he'll
thoughts. We gonna get out of here.
Oh, dude. Yeah, break the cowboy hat out again.
Oh, man.
Great.
The cowboy hat
you.
in Vegas.
Me and you.
Yeah,
Get
they're
out
having
here.
a great conversation without us. It's fine.
No, when you go, you can talk to him.
Yeah.
Do you miss Colorado? How much do you think how much does their success chap your ass? That,
When you said you wanted to play playoff hockey, is this
Yeah.
what you imagined?
yeah, that they've played more rounds than you have since you left.
All right.
They played more rounds than you have games since you left.
Bring it
How do you
in.
feel?
Bring it in. Final thoughts on tonight's game.
Fuck that guy. pick a guy as that guy.
Doesn't matter who.
It could be the ref. It could be Dutchie. It could be Scott Doucette. I'm open to all 3. Whatever. Add a 4th or 5th out there.
Kodak
too.
Black. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Someone already did, I think, for Kodak.
With Ryan Murray tonight.
Yeah.
Jesse's on grade, so you won't hear about him from me.
Yeah.
Get that ref a walking stick.
Ooh.
I also thought Ryan Murray was good tonight.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, bye.
I mean, that's where we're at, and show's over. Go be mad or do whatever you want to do.